Love is our true divine nature, and our heart serves as the intersection of the spiritual and physical, connecting our soul with our body as the conduit for anchoring our divinity onto the earth plane. Embodying our divinity is the key to our ascension and to manifesting our highest destiny in this life. The teachings of the heart are alchemy. Join spiritual mentor and channel Jennifer Spohr each week on a sacred journey to lift the veil to remembering your divinity and meet other beautiful souls who are living the path of the awakened heart. Hey everyone, I am overjoyed to welcome as a guest to the show today Jenn Cohen. She has always been captivated by the power of intuition. After a life-changing experience in her 20s, she explored how intuition could shape her life and career. Jenn also has an extensive background in the entertainment industry, and as everyone who listens here knows, that anything regarding intuition is right up my alley. So we are going to have a really fun conversation today. Welcome, Jenn.
Thank you for having me. It's really a joy to be here with you. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super
Mm.
excited too. I mean, even before we hit record, we were just already chatting away and we were like, we could talk to each other all day. So we just better hit record.
Yep.
And do this. In fact, on that note, you and I were speaking before we started recording, and really I was saying, that getting in touch with your highest self, with your intuition, isn't a nice to have. It really is fundamental to navigating your path here, especially in the times that we're living in. And it's like, I know a lot of people are already feeling that, right? But sometimes acting on what we're being guided to can feel like a different story. So I'd love for you, really, like, there's so much I want to ask you and talk to you about. But first, I would love for you to share with us, your own path, right? How did you feel called to this path and then actually make the shift?
Sure, sure. And I'll just start by just agreeing with you. There hasn't been a more um, important time to connect with our intuition. There's so much noise out there that being able to listen to that inner knowledge and that inner self, it's necessary. And so I love the messages that you're putting out, and so happy to be able to talk to you about it today. And my journey, it started with a bit of a tragedy when I was 20. I was just starting my junior year of college, and my father unexpectedly passed away, and went home for the funeral. And the night of his funeral, um, I was lying on his and my mom's bed on his side of the bed, and I was just kind of calling out to God at that time, just saying, why, what am I going to do now? And it was pitch black, and the bedside light next to where I was lying down just flashed on and off and on and off. And I said, Dad, is that you? Flashed on and off and on and off in response to my question. And it wasn't like, any electricity or brownout or anything like that. It was a call in response. And I went back up to school, and those signs and just kept coming through multiple things, but the lights flashing was really the prominent one at that time. And when I would walk under a light and it would flash on and off, I would almost, I'd be in a group of people, and I would be the only one that really even noticed it. And it was this feeling that came over my body of like, that's my dad doing, signaling to me that he's watching over me. And in the process of my grief, I got really angry at one point, about all the milestones that we would miss, and as father and daughter. And I was feeling very scared in that I wasn't being protected, and that I didn't have this safety net and this protection of a male in my life anymore, and the father figure. And so in that anger, I just said to him, okay, you're in charge of my profession. You're in charge of my career, and you're going to always make sure that I can take care of myself and that I'm protected in that way. And I heard very clearly when I handed that over to him, thank you, I'll take it. And yeah, it doesn't mean that it's going to be smooth sailing, but what it means is that, you're going to be looking out for the opportunities that are coming your way. And you're not going to have such a fear-based mentality over this part of your life that you're going to be able to hear me when I come through. And so that anger dissipated, and what I was left with was a real pathway to my intuitive sense and the kind of blueprint to open up that space within me in order to allow myself to receive intuition.
Wow, that's such a unique story, the way that you came into that. I mean, it sounds like an awakening
Yeah.
into
Definitely.
it. Yeah.
Definitely. I could have had two choices. I was the last person that he spoke with the night before. I could have
Hmm.
gone down that grief route of this is my fault. Had I done something else, blah, 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 and just beat myself up over that, or leaned into the trust of the universe and the trust of a higher being. And that's the way. And again, it came through anger, but that's okay. But that's the way I decided that was going to work for me.
Yeah, you said it came through anger, right? I saw this saying, or it's not even really like a quote, but I study a lot of Mary Magdalene's gospel, and I read something one day that said that anger is information.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, anger and any and all of our emotions, for that matter, I believe, are provide information for us, clarity for us.
Absolutely, because when I think of the times that I've been angry, there's always that fear underneath that anger, and anger is just kind of the first reaction to it. And then once you start peeling back, you see you're trying to protect yourself from that vulnerability of that fear, and really getting to the root of the issue.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people actually, I mean, I also believe that you can feel anger and you can feel fear. You can feel those experiences, those frequencies, if you will, and still make a conscious decision, right?
Yeah.
With, the awareness of that. A lot of people tend to want to, or they feel like, oh, I can't take this action or make this decision until I am through the anger or through this. And
Mhm.
yes, I will say there is a time where we do need to create space for ourselves, just to allow ourselves to feel emotions, to be able to process and release them. But there are also times when we can just be in it
Yeah.
and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's a
Yeah.
balance. And when you figure out that balance for yourself, because we're all very different. But when I think the most important thing in anger, and I worked through this a lot in my corporate job, and where it's like, don't email back right away. Just go ahead and take
Oh yeah.
20 minutes.
I've had lots of those. I worked in corporate too. I remember a lot of those. Yeah, it's like,
Right.
I'm gonna respond to this email right away.
Right.
We're just gonna set that one aside today.
Step away from the keyboard. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's good in any situation, right? That is one of the things that I teach in my work as well, is that uh, because many of us are also conditioned, right, to
Hmm.
believe that when we are having a conversation with someone, we need to immediately produce a response,
Right.
or there can't be any silence in the conversation, right? And what I often teach is that, silence is okay. It's okay
Hmm.
to sometimes even say something or let someone else say something and then just let it, marinate for a little bit. That, or, actually be able to say to the person, I need to contemplate this or think about it, or can I get back with you and circle back with you? It's so helpful to be able to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's incredibly helpful because not only externally that silence, but internally, then you can almost kind of catch up with with the thoughts coming in, and those thoughts coming in, might be thoughts that your intuitive self is going to put the brakes on, and so that
Yeah.
silence is where you put yourself in that position to receive intuitive guidance. It's not our job to hunt it down. It's our job to get into a space where we can receive it. And so that silence is golden. And the more that we practice that muscle, the less uncomfortable it is in those situations. But I agree with you. Silence is one of my favorite tools, um,
Yeah.
because when you're connected with your intuitive self and the person you're talking with might not be, you don't have to say a lot.
Yeah. Yes. That's so true. How did you how did you decide that you wanted to teach this to other people, right? Because a lot of people get in touch with themselves intuitively, but they use it in their lives, but necessarily aren't teaching other people.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's the natural progression after 27 years in entertainment to go and do this, right? Um, that's the goal for everyone. For me, it was a calling. It was probably the last 2 to 3 years in the entertainment space. I kept hearing people say, "How did you know that?" Or "That's so intuitive. You're so intuitive." They would use different words, emotional intelligence. Depending on what they were comfortable with saying. And it got to a point where it was just like, this is so weird, like people like are reflecting back to me, what they're seeing, and I'm not necessarily seeing it like that. And it got to a point where I'll tell you the exact moment. I was really, the entertainment industry is going through massive change, as we all know, from cable to streaming to acquisitions and job duplication, and there's a lot of fear and a lot of scarcity, and it just became an environment that wasn't aligned with where I was at. And so I would say, multiple times over years, like, this is like talking to a wall. Having discussions with these people is like talking to a wall, certain people, obviously, not everyone. And I was in meditation one day, and this beautiful image came in front of me. And it was a reflection of myself. And she looked me in the eyes and she said, "It's like talking to a wall." And at that point, it was like, dang, man, this is about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, it was a beautiful moment that allowed me to take that leap. And I had had so much fear around it. And, what would happen? What would I be without this job? What would I be losing? What would the reality that I had created? It would be gone. Um, but then once I chose to leave, all of that was gone. My intuition had come in. It's like, okay, now we can start to open up for you, and I would meet people. And then how I decided to get into the actual physical job that I'm in now, which is an intuitive consultant and channel, is that I moved into my place. I was in New York at the time. I came back to California, and my dad came through, and he came through with automatic writing, and I filled up about 3 journals in 4 days.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and it was kind of a full circle moment where he was like, "I told you I'd kind of always protect you around your career and around your profession, and here's the next stage." And from then on, I didn't necessarily have, this is what I'm going to be in 5 years, this is what I'm going to be in 10 years. It was just start and just begin to find some resources that were going to help me.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that so much. You mentioned, right, that you teach intuitive development and also your channel. Uh,
Mhm.
tell me more about your channeling experience and your channeling work.
Yeah. So, um, I'd always had kind of this knowing, and I it never defined it, but I think a lot of us do. We're just empathic and we're in touch with other people and we feel. And when I started doing this work, I was realizing how much I was picking up from other people and their energy. And when I was able to start to clear that out and really remove that kind of dust that I took on for other people, it opened up a channel. It opened up my, I'll just say airwaves, but it opened up my ability to hear energies that have from people that have transitioned. I can tap into energies of people that are still on this planet, of their higher self. And all of this is with permission. Can tap into pets, homes, trees, anything with the soul. And I started out through the automatic writing with my dad. And it's almost like I have an earpiece in my ear, like a newscaster would have. And it's just like I'm hearing it. And it's, it's my, you know, higher self, it's spirits, angels, guides, just coming through. And then I can tap into the energy that, people are asking about if they would like to hear from someone that has passed. I can feel that energy. And it's similar to the energy that I was picking up from people on the daily basis when I wasn't really in tune with my
Yeah.
channeling. And now I can really feel that energy from afar.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I experienced that too in my other life, and that I say now, my other career. I mean, being as sensitive as I am energetically served me very well. And,
Yeah.
working in the retail industry for as long as I did. So I love that it sounds like you're clairaudient and clairsentient. I
Yeah.
love that so much. Clairaudience, I don't come across as much.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried to really reject it because I thought everybody else's clairs were so much cooler. And then when I leaned into it, I'm like, no, that's different from your mind racing. That's different, you know.
Isn't that how we are as humans, though? It's like we always think the grass is greener on the
Yeah.
other side, and it's like, no, you already have all of these amazing gifts,
Yeah.
and for a reason. I think teaching intuitive development is so much fun because everybody, I think you said it earlier, it's a lot like working a muscle, and everyone's intuitive gifts are very unique.
Yeah. Absolutely. And how you experience your intuition is very unique, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
I'd love for you, so one of the greatest challenges in my experience, because I teach similar work to what you're
yeah.
doing, uh, a very common challenge, or I would say like maybe block that people have is at first they think that they're making it up, right?
Hmm.
So trusting, tuning into and trusting what you're receiving is really important. How do you or maybe how have you overcome that on your own journey, or how have you helped other clients overcome that, like gain more confidence in trusting and taking action on what they receive?
Sure. I take from my entertainment work a lot here
Mhm.
because when you're a writer, you're making stuff up.
Yeah.
That's how every project starts. And then thoughts become things, and then it
Hmm.
becomes a reality. And that
Hmm.
is, as you know, tuning into that part of our hemisphere of our brain. That's the intuitive side, that's the creative side, that's the imaginative side. And we as a society have put so much more value on the other side of the house. And now we're just trying to balance it out, you know? And
Yeah.
so, yeah. And so when people are saying, I'm making it up, I just go with it. Okay. Okay, let's see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. And we just go down that path. And what happens, every time is
Hmm.
we get to around the circle of doubt, and then that doubt finally starts to get worn down, and then it's truth, because where they're coming from is a place so deep inside of them, as the name of your podcast, the awakened heart. You're awakening your heart through that process, and
Hmm.
what starts out as this kind of fairy tale, at the end, when you start to unravel everything that has discounted it throughout your life that has tried to bring you away from it from all your life, and we can go into why, but that's another podcast, I have a feeling, is the truth. It's where your heart wants to sing. It's where your heart wants to come back to. It's what your heart is trying to return to you in the way of your purpose, in the way of your awakening, in the way of its guidance to your next step on your path.
Mhm. I talk about truth a lot too, and it's something that you know. It's not even
Right.
something that you believe, right? It surpasses that. It transcends that, really is probably the better word to use to describe that. It's really a knowing. And a lot of people, even when we're talking about intuitive development, right? And developing your intuition, a lot of people are still contemplating that from their mental space. And so it's
Exactly.
really important to, you referenced getting into the heart, right? Really getting into your body, into your heart, and learning how to feel that truth, and then using that to be the basis with which to navigate all of your decisions from. And I feel like that is unique for people too. Like there's our intuitive voice, but there is also very much being physically grounded in your truth, Like there's a quote from Joan of Arc that I use, I mean, that I've probably brought up with people like a million times, where she says, I am not afraid, I was born to do this.
Yeah.
Like you can feel that frequency, right? Of how grounded she is in
Hmm.
her truth when she says that. What has your experience been with that?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great point to really spend some time on, because I say, like, when in knowing, there is no question attached,
Mhm.
because knowledge doesn't operate in language. We give language to it.
Yeah,
And
so true. Yes.
yeah. And so it's just piggybacking on exactly what you said. You know, you can feel the expansion in your chest when you're in
Mhm.
truth. And then when you're in fear, you can feel your shoulders creeping up. You can feel the contraction. And that
Yeah.
expansion and contraction, I think, is one of the first ways that I teach. Let's just get in tune with how our body is talking to us.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, because when we're in contraction, we're in resistance. And when we're in resistance, we're blocking.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also just in a very simple context, I mean, our human mind obviously serves a purpose, and I want to say that because I feel like in personal development realms and in spiritual communities, and I've done it in the past too, we kind of poo-poo the mind, the ego mind,
Yep.
but it really does serve a purpose. It's just the difference is that we often in our human selves allow it to be the star of the show, speaking in the context of entertainment, right? Where
Yeah.
really it belongs in that supporting role, and the intuition belongs in the front seat, apparently,
Yeah.
so just like understanding that the mind is really isolated, your human mind is isolated to your human body, into this one life and experience you're having, versus your intuition, which is your soul, and you're an eternal being, and it actually has the big picture, right? Even if
Right.
your human self can't see that at the time.
Oh, and I find it so much more fun.
And it is fun too.
Yeah.
Yes, it is fun. This work never gets old. I love this work so much. I mean, I've heard so many times, because I do a lot of channeling work as well. And someone will say, well, I was just about to share that with you. Or how did you know that? Or, well,
Hmm.
how I know that. It's not me.
Right.
It's.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It's your
And
guides, God,
that's right.
whoever's watching over you, right? Is
Absolutely. I know, it's so fun. It's so
it is.
fun too. And when people are open to that, then, that's where the real magic happens in just talking about resistance. And, I think your listeners are on the path, if they're not already open to it, to being open to it, or, finding what's next on their journey with this, because it never ends.
Yeah, and I love sharing your experience and other guest experiences and my own as well, because I feel like the more that we hear that there are more people, right? Other beings out there that are having similar experiences, I feel like it really helps to open us up to
Yeah.
more possibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these are the types of conversations I love to have. Like, I really can't go back to the small talk anymore. Um,
Right? I know. It's
yeah.
like
Hmm. Yeah.
it's like,
And
how are you? What did you do
right.
this weekend? It's like, does it really matter what I did?
Right. How many times can we talk about the weather? But yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm like that too, totally.
Hmm. So it's beautiful to expand this circle and to be able to find each other.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. Tell us more about your work, and is there anything else that you're up to this year that you want to share with us?
Sure, sure. So, I work with individuals, that are looking for guidance and support around any part of their lives. I work with a bunch of executives. So I'm really passionate about bringing intuition back into, I shouldn't say back into the
Yeah.
workplace, and having that skill set as, just as important as some hard skill sets that so much attention and value is put on. Definitely wasn't hired for my PowerPoint skills. I was, I was constantly doing this work. It's just, I've rebranded in a much different way as I've grown. Um, and then I also do channeling work for people that are looking for guidance and support from their angels, guides, people that have passed. I do a lot of conflict resolution work with people that are still on this earth that haven't transitioned, um, with families and children. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to have that direct line
Yeah.
of contact with those. And what I'm most excited about this year is that I just launched a membership program,
Oh,
and it's three levels just based on where you are in your intuition journey. Whether you just need support, on a monthly basis of, here are some tools and tips to keep you on the path, to, oh, I kind of get this, but I need a little bit more hand holding. And then a level that's just like, okay, we're diving in. This is going to be the introduction, and we're going to really start to lean on this sense of yours that we're all born with, that we all have. I call it our first sense. Most people do say sixth sense.
right. Yeah, that's true. They do. Yeah, I like that. I like how
Mm.
you refer to that first sense. I agree with that. I believe that too.
Yeah,
From the
yeah.
inside out, living from the inside out. Uh, in closing, what else are you feeling guided to bring forward in this now moment?
In this now moment, let me take a moment here.
Mhm.
It's really, with all of the noise that surrounds us, it's so important to be in connection with our truth, and our truth is inside of us. It's not what is external. Our truth really defines how we approach how we want to live on this earth. And being able to make that U-turn back to self anytime that we start to get agitated or irritated by what we're seeing in front of us externally, it is such a superpower and a gift that we all have the ability to tune in and look within in order to make this world a much better place to be. And I know that sounds a little cheesy or corny, but it's what's coming through right now. And we all have this truth within our heart.
Yes, and no pun intended. It's so true. Like the first thing I wanted to
Yeah.
say in response to
Yeah.
you is it's so true. But it is the things that we attribute to being cheesy or corny or even cliche are often the most profound
Absolutely.
pieces of wisdom, right? And then we tend to, because they get said a lot or thrown around a lot, we tend to almost become kind of immune to them, right? But they really are. I mean, it really is profound. So thank you so much for
You're
sharing that.
welcome.
And Jen, for those who are feeling guided to connect more deeply with you, where is the best place for them to go?
My website's great. It's Jenn with two N's, Cohen, Cohen, intuitive.com. And I'm always happy to answer questions, to have discussions. My email's there. It's really about just making this conversation more available to people and for everyone to just be able to talk about it as if they're talking about any other sense on their body.
Thank you so much, Jen. It was such a pleasure connecting with you today, and thank you for sharing all of your wisdom and gifts, and just thank you for putting
Oh,
yourself out in the world and for all you're doing.
right back at you.
Oh, thanks. Thank you for listening to Path of the Awakened Heart. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or pathoftheawakenedheart.com so you never miss an episode. To learn more about living with an awakened heart and navigating your ascension journey, visit me at jenniferspore.com.